Okay, hello everybody. I am Sloaters, and we're going to be doing some more Super Metroid with some good old any percent. So let's just get right into it. If you saw me do low percent last night, this run's going to look a lot similar to that one. It's pretty much the same boss order, but this time I'm going to be picking up some extra items to make the boss fights and my movement a lot faster. The first, 15 minutes is more or less the same as low percent, so not too much different if you watch that one. So as always, we're going to start off on the Series Station. We're going to come all the way to Ridley's room and damage ourselves on his tail to get to critical energy. And this will activate this little cutscene here, and now the space station is going to explode. So I need to get off of it within 60 seconds game time, or that's the end of the run. So let's hope I can do it. This part is kind of RNG heavy. The steam and those tiles in that last room all kind of come out randomly, so it's a lot of reactionary stuff. Fortunately, I do get out with 45 seconds to spare, so we made it, guys. And now, after a little cutscene, we'll be back on planet Zebes, where the fun really begins. Alright, and here we go. So first things first, we're going to want to go get our first power-up, which is the Morph Ball, located down in Retro Brinstar. So I'll just follow through a couple rooms here, and we'll hit an elevator and be there in no time. If you're familiar with this game and you know what moonwalk and moonfalling is, I will not be using it in this run. It's not a setting I'm used to having on, and it really messes with a lot of the boss fights and room strategies if you're not used to it, so I don't play with it. If I did, it would save me about 4 seconds in that tall shaft room I was just in, and it saves a couple other seconds in one other location. But enough about that. We are now down in Retro Brinstar, and right to the left here I will pick up my Morph Ball. And it'll allow me to do exactly what it says. I can now morph into a ball, and I can fit in small passages like that. Next, I'm going to pick up my first missile pack down here in this room to the left. And after I pick up this pack, the planet is now awake, and there's going to be enemies that start spawning once I make my way back up the rooms I was just in. So the planet will be a little more lit up, and I'll have some enemies I'll have to kill to get back up to where I was and head over to my next upgrade, the Morph Bombs. And here they are. The Space Pirates now know I'm here, and they don't like that I'm here. With my trusty arm cannon, I will take care of them swiftly. And there's even more of them up here in the room we call the climb, since it's a pretty tall climb. And I'm going to use my new Morph Ball to go through this little tunnel, go through here, and I'll also use my missiles to now open the red door in front of me These doors require 5 missiles to open, or 1 super missile. And fortunately I do have 5 missiles. And with my morph bombs I can now head on to the next section, or not. This is actually the first mini-boss of the game, known as Bomb Torizo. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to shoot 5 pea shooter shots at him, and then I'm going to try to farm some missiles from the projectiles he shoots like this. And, oops, I did an extra shot on accident, so that was a little longer, but essentially I was farming his missiles and trying not to pick up all of them so I could pick up even more once he transitions to that second phase. But either way, we're through the fight without too much trouble. I'll do one little wall jump trick here. This is called the Alcatraz escape. Come back the way I came through that morph tunnel. And we are just moving on. I'm now about to pick up my first energy tank of the run. The energy tank's going to give me 100 additional energy to work with, which will come in handy for the first boss I'm going to be coming against soon, Phantoon. And another thing I'm doing to help with Phantoon is I'm actually going to be missiling these pirates. It's actually a little faster to run through them most of the time, but I really want to conserve health here in order to not have a scary Phantoon fight. So you'll see I missiled through them and I picked up one of their missile drops, and I'll have a few more enemies here in the next room that I can farm some more missiles off of to open the next pink door. So right here I got 2 Zilas, there's 4 more missiles, and I'm now in the early supers room, and with a little sequence break I can use this trick called the Mach Ball to retain my dash speed while in the morph ball and be able to get under those falling gates without the use of the speed booster, which is the intended way. And I pick up the early super missile pack. The first super missile pack you're supposed to get is the one behind the mini boss Spore Spawn, but with this missile pack, or super missile pack I just grabbed, I will not have to be fighting him. Now we're moving into Big Pink. There's a few items I'm going to pick up in here. One is another missile pack. It'll bring me up to 10 total missiles. And I'm also going to grab the charge beam. The charge beam allows you to charge up your pea shooter or whatever beam combo you have. And it's going to be our main weapon against a lot of the bosses. So there's a charge beam there hidden in that little passage. And now I can start really going towards Phantoon. So if you played this game before, you probably know Kraid is the first boss you're sort of intended to fight, but by doing another little sequence break we can go and fight Phantoon first, which is really fast in this route as it lets you get the powerful gravity suit early. So this next room I'm coming up to is Red Tower. Normally you would want to go down here, but I'm actually going to go up. At the very top of this shaft, there's a breakable block, and what I'm going to do is shoot a beam shot up there and wall jump up quickly so that my beam actually makes it to the block and breaks it, and I can get up there before it respawns. And I'm going to have my first power bomb pack using this little trick. Now to get to Phantoon I have to cross over a room we like to call the moat. This room is pretty difficult with this route because at this point the game expects you to have the grapple beam in order to get across, but I do not have that luxury. So what I'm going to have to do is one of 2 tricks. One, the continuous wall jump, or I have to do a diagonal bomb jump to get across. The continuous wall jump, or CWJ, is a frame-perfect jump into a 2-frame window jump. The bomb jump's a bit more lenient, but it's slower than the CWJ. So we'll see if I can get it here. You'll see I'm actually going to align myself up with this next door. If you align with the door and then run into the next room, it gives you the perfect speed to get this jump off. That jump looks good, so now I need to hit the next jump in a 2-frame window. And there it is. That's the CWJ. So no grapple beam necessary. Now I just have to get across the next ocean here. And we are in the wrecked ship. So just like the low percent run I did yesterday, this is a pretty tough fight under these conditions. We are lucky this time that I have an extra missile pack, so I'm not going to be too concerned about farming missiles during the fight. It's possible to run low if you get really bad luck, but I don't anticipate that being a problem. So Phantom can either give us fast, medium, or slow patterns. That right there is a fast pattern, which is great. It's all completely RNG what you get. The slow and mid patterns are usually a lot more common. And we get a mid right there. And that's a really good Phantom fight. Very good kill time for me. The strategy I was using there is called the Doppler. So what I do is I open each round with 4 regular missiles, and as Phantom is coming towards me, I actually start running towards him while firing my missiles. And what that does is effectively increase the rate that I'm firing my missiles at Phantom, and it actually stuns lock him in the process so I can get in a ton of missiles in each round. And as you can see, if you do it correctly, you can actually get 2-round fights pretty reliably. And now I'm going to pick up my last super missile pack of the run. This one's conveniently located just inside this room. I actually got really bad drops from Phantom as far as supers go. Usually you want to be closer to your max capacity of 10 here. But that's alright, I have some farms I can do later to make up for that. Now coming up to the attic here, I need to kill all the enemies inside this room in order to progress. So what I'm going to do is lay a power bomb right here at the start and shoot a missile at that guy. And that'll take care of all the enemies right there by the door. And the rest of them I can just use ammo to take care of and get through there relatively quickly. Now it's great that Phantom gave me a lot of health. In the one of the next rooms I'm going to be in, the bowling room, there are spikes all over the floor that do 60 damage every time you hit them without a suit on. So you need at least 121 energy to survive that area without suits. And luckily I can take 3 hits here. But I'll probably take 2 as long as I don't mess up. There we go. So now we have a little cutscene. The bowling chorizo is going to walk over these spikes and take us down to the gravity suit. So the reason we come here early is because gravity is really good in this game. It gives you the maximum amount of damage reduction. It pretty much does everything VARIA does and better, besides one other thing, which is going to be the reason we pick up VARIA. It's going to allow us to move freely through water and lava, so we can take care of Lower Norfair and Meridia as soon as we get there. And so now the next boss I'm going to be heading towards is Ridley. He was supposed to be the last boss you fight out of the 4 G4 bosses. And before I do that, I'm going to pick up some extra items, some beams to make my charge beam a lot stronger, as well as some movement items to make traversing through that area a lot faster. Like I said earlier, I don't really have many supers right now, so I'm actually going to do a little farm strat here with the cack attacks. You really want as many supers as possible leading into this next area. There's a lot of pink and green doors we need to open up. And then just preparing for Ridley himself, we're going to need a lot of supers. Oh, missed him. So yeah, 8's a lot better number to have at this point. So now we're back in Red Tower. This time I'm going to be heading down. And before I head down into Upper Norfair, there's one more item I'm going to pick up, which is the Spacer Beam. The Spacer Beam adds some additional damage to my beam, as well as making it a little bit wider. This is going to be... we're not going to be getting the Plasma Beam, so Spacer is the best we're going to get for increasing our damage. Although Plasma is very powerful, it's very out of the way, and by the time we get there, the only boss that's really going to pay off with is Mother Brain, but not enough to justify getting it. I'm also going to break the Meridia 2 while I'm here. It's a little faster to break it when you first enter the room from this left side, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to head down to Upper Norfair now. Similar to low percent, a safety you can do with this route is to do Kraid before you do this section, so you can get the VARIA suit and an extra energy tank. But it's not quite as scary compared to low percent, and this is a route I'm pretty comfortable with doing at this point, so we're going to do it. There's my second energy tank, conveniently right along the way to the high jump boots. And another super drop. That's good. The high jump boots also do exactly what they say. They make my jump go higher. And this is kind of low-key, like a really big time-saving item. If you watch a lot of randomizer or play a lot of randomizer, you will quickly realize how powerful it really is in speeding up your runs and just making things a lot more comfortable in general. And I'm also going to pick up the Ice Beam while I'm over here. The Ice Beam is going to be great for the Metroid rooms later on. It's also going to give me some extra damage output versus Ridley and Mother Brain, so we definitely want that. And I'll actually use ice right now to freeze these guys. Oh, that one I froze a little too far. I will freeze them so I can get a little running space. Oh, I didn't get it. If you do that correctly, you can actually do a mock ball under that gate, similar to when I got the early supers. But since I missed it, I'll just go the long way around. I also want to have at least 2 power bombs before I head into Lower Norfair, or at least up to the entrance. Oops. So I'm going to farm one from that guy, and hopefully I get another one in a little bit. So there's 2 more items we're going to pick up here. One of them being Speed Booster and the other Wave Beam. Speed Booster is going to make our run speed a lot faster. We can also start using the Shine Spark technique, which I'll use actually very shortly to do a cool trick. And the Wave Beam will also give us more damage to our Charge Beam, as well as allow us to shoot through walls, which isn't really a big deal, but it's helpful at times. So here's that Speed Booster. And my super count is pretty good. I'm gonna farm a little bit here and kind of hope I get more and some regular missiles as well. Okay, that was good. I actually got power bombs too, so I don't have to worry about that. The missile count is a little low, but that's fine. So now I'm gonna pick up my wave beam, and then we're gonna head right to Lower Norfair. I'll go ahead and talk about this now. The trick I'm going to try to use to get through the lava pit is called the lava spark. Basically what I'm going to be doing is doing a trick where I try to charge a shine spark faster with the speed booster, and then I will do a D-boost off of an enemy's projectile in order to make it over to an area and be able to shine spark up the lava pit. It's a really cool looking strat, but it's pretty difficult to pull off. If I don't get it, there's a backup I can do with a gravity jump, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. I'll do a little farming strat in here. Some more power bombs. I got the short charge. Oh, dang it. I might have been able to save that if I did a diagonal shine spark instead of a straight up one. The diagonal shine sparks actually move you slightly to the right when you do them. And unfortunately, the consequence of missing that trick is I lost a lot of health just attempting it, and then I also lost a ton of health doing that gravity jump to get up there. So I'm only at 94, which is really low. As long as I don't make any big mistakes, I should be okay, but we have some scary rooms coming up as well. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm gonna try to do a shine spark. I might mess that up, yeah. Probably good that I didn't shine spark actually, because that would use up like 70 energy. And as you can see, I'm very low in energy right now, so probably for the best. This is the worst room in the game. Don't want to talk too much while I'm doing it. That wall jump there is pretty tough. You want to have a power bomb go off to break the blocks to get through, and to also give the enemies iframe so they don't hit you. If you miss that wall jump, you're probably going to get hit, and with my health that would be really bad, so that's good I got through that okay. I'm going to do another short charge here to do a shine spark. Oh. It still worked. So by doing that shine spark, ooh, okay, I'm gonna let this guy go through. By doing that shine spark there, the echoes that come off of me actually kill those two key hunters. Not only can I get drops from them, which could be health or supers, it also makes this room lag a lot less when you lay these power bombs. So that's a really cool strat. Now if I did this room right, yep, that guy will go high. I'm going to use my last power bomb to go through here. And now we're on to the Ninja Pirates room. I'm going to use Shine Sparks to kill these guys. Hopefully they give me a lot of supers and health. Usually you want a lot of supers, but since I'm so low right now, some extra health is also very much desired. And they do give me really good drops. I'm nearly full on health, and I have full supers, which is great. I'm gonna do one more farm right before Ridley's door. You can see the way I'm moving through the room kind of brings two bugs with me along the way. And we're looking really good. Over 200 energy, 10 super missiles for Ridley. Should be a pretty good fight. So the main source of damage is going to be these beam shots. I can also use missiles as well. They kind of have the same DPS as my current beam combo. The 10 supers I have actually do about a third of Ridley's health. So I'm going to save them towards the end of the fight. Reason being is Ridley's attacks start coming out faster the later you get in the fight as his color changes. So once I see his color change, I'm going to start keeping track of my shots and then pump all the supers. Here's the color change. And he should be dead now. He is dead, but he's strolling me a little bit. At this point, I'm going to take the wave beam off now. You'll see why later, but I'm going to be utilizing the X Factor special beam attack. In order to do that, I need to have just charge and wave on. A good safety at this point is to grab the Ridley tank, which I will do if I'm low on health, but Ridley actually did give me a lot of health drops, so I'm going to go ahead and risk it and just go. There's some pretty dangerous rooms coming up ahead, most of them involving key hunters. It's going to be very critical how I move through these rooms, as that's sort of how you manipulate their movements. I'm actually doing a really cool strat here. So I broke some of the blocks of those power bomb blocks, and I actually clipped through the last of them in order to get a D-boost. And that just makes that room a lot easier to do that short charge and do the speedball. And in this room, yeah, kind of bad luck. So you can manipulate where these key hunters are based on your movement in the room. The first one is pretty easy to manipulate, but the second and third one, it's kind of up to chance if they'll be in your way or not. In the last dangerous room, the Three Musketeers, is sort of a similar deal. I can control two of them usually pretty well, but the third one's kind of random if they'll be in a favorable position or not. Yep, first two. Oops. Okay, that third one doesn't do that all the time, but that worked out. So we're out of probably the most dangerous part of the run now. And from here, it's kind of just a boss rush on the last two bosses we have, and then on our way to G4. I'll grab that just in case. So the big reason we want to do Kraid before we do Dragon is two things. For one, if we do this now, we have mostly Speed Booster, but also all the other items we picked up in Norfair. So going through these hallways will be a lot faster. And the second reason being, Kraid's area is a good place to refill on your supers. Mini Kraid pretty much always drops 4 when you kill him, and then Kraid himself will usually drop you some. And we need a lot of supers for Meridia, especially dealing with the bot twin fight, so that's why we're coming here now. As you can see, a Speed Booster really paying off in that room in particular. Alright, now on to Kraid. We're going to attempt a quick kill here. What I'm going to do is, as he comes up and opens his mouth, I'm going to try to shoot him at a particular moment to kind of stun his mouth in a certain position, which will let me shoot a bunch of supers in to get the kill. And when you do it just like that, you can skip his stand-up phase and run off screen a little bit. Now you might be wondering why we're picking up the VARIA suit if we already have gravity. The reason being is Mother Brain's final rainbow beam attack actually only checks to see if you have VARIA on when it determines how much damage it's going to do. With the VARIA suit, it's going to do 300 damage, and without it, it'll do 600. So we're going to be getting 3 E-tanks total by the end of the run in order to survive that, that rainbow beam. I would have liked to leave this place with full supers. I could still get some off of the Zilas over here. But like I said in Meridia, yeah, I didn't get one there. In Meridia, we're going to use a lot of supers. And if we don't have them, the Batoon fight can be pretty long. So since I already broke the tube here, I can just jump. Oop. I should have jumped right up in here, and boom, we're in Meridia. Cool, I saved that. If you jump like on the one of the last frames of going through that door, you can actually do a big jump like that. I actually did a little early, but I was able to save it by sort of turning back and forth on that corner. Oops. Alright, now we're coming up to Batoon shortly. The way we're going to handle Batoon is I'm going to trigger an X factor at a very specific time so that all 4 of the particles hit Batoon's head as soon as he spawns. Oh, that's not going to work. And then I'm going to try to finish the fight in 1 round with some supers, so hopefully I can get this. Oh, I jumped a little low there, so fortunately one of the particles missed. Should just be 1 more. Oh man, he's really trolling me right now. Yeah, unfortunately, I lost a lot of time on that fight. But we're still alive. Fortunately, since I used so many extra supers, and he only gave me 1, I'm actually a little short right now. I'm gonna bank on the Metroids giving me some in Coliseum, but if they don't, I'll have to take a little bit of a time loss. Oops. Now I'm going to go for a trick called Full Halfy, where I carry a Shine Spark all the way up this room and hopefully be able to spark across the Coliseum, just like that. So hopefully this guy drops me 1. No, he doesn't. This is actually a bad situation for me, because now I don't have enough ammo to properly deal with the turrets in this room. So hopefully this one doesn't get in my way, but we'll see. I'm going to open up with an X Factor similar to what I did with Batoon, and I'm actually going to be using Shine Sparks to do the bulk of this fight. Unfortunately, Dre was not really giving me the patterns I wanted, but there we go. And now I have what's called a blue suit. There's a strange glitch where... And I got the spike suit. Well, this is a lot to explain right now. Basically, if you kill Dragon with the Shine Spark, whenever you kill Dragon, she forces you into a standing pose. And if you do that while you're Shine Sparking, you get what's called a blue suit, which basically lets you use a Shine Spark wherever you want. The only caveat is you can't hold the dash button when you do it, but I managed to do a trick called Spike Suit, which is kind of a different form of blue suit, but allows me to hold the dash button, which is why I held dash through all those rooms. And I decided to use that Shine Spark in the same room where I did the Full Halfy. It's the best place to use it, and it saves a pretty good amount of time. So now with all the G4 bosses down, I can head over to Torian and start the final section of the game. I'm pretty good on drops actually. This is kind of more than you'd usually have. But my health is pretty low, so I might do an extra farm on the way there just to be safe. So I'm gonna lay a power bomb right about there. And they gave me all supers. They gave me all supers. Where is this luck in my runs? We'll do one more. Just to be really safe. So normally you don't have a lot of supers in relying on the Metroid drops is kind of scary, but probably not going to be a big deal since I have 9 right now. But essentially, to finish the game quickly, you want to leave the Metroid rooms with at least 15 missiles and 10 super missiles, or some, combination of that. So like 18 missiles and 9 supers, or whatever, you can mix and match them. I have a total missile count of 20, so if I get good drops, I'll have a 5 missile leeway. Skipping that 4th missile pack so that you only have 15 and 10, it saves very little time, probably like 5 seconds, and it makes this last part of the run a lot more risky since you really have to depend on the drops or you're going to lose a ton of time. So it's pretty common to see people go 20 and 10 unless you're at the very top of the leaderboards. So now we're just going to wait a little bit. We're going to watch all the statues fade out and they will pave the way to the Torian elevator. And it's also a great time for me to drink water. At this point, I still have just my charge and wave beam, but I'm going to want my ice beam back to freeze the Metroids, as well as the spacer beam to do more damage to Mother Brain. This is the best time for me to turn them back on. If you pause and then activate an elevator, downwards going elevator, before the menu fades out, you'll actually save about 40 frames on the transition. So that worked out really well. Now I'm just gonna farm some of these Metroids. Looking real good on ammo. Just gotta get that health back up where it needs to be. And we're looking pretty good. I'm gonna missile these last set of Metroids just so I don't really get owned by the RNG. If I did that correctly, I should do a D-boost. That. I still get hit anyway, so it doesn't matter. And now we're about to attempt the baby skip. So normally, the baby Metroid, after killing the side hopper, will try to kill you next. And it's a pretty long cutscene, and it forces you to go to refill after as she drains your health all the way down to 1. But by doing some precise jumps, it's possible to actually allow her to not grab you at all. So I'm going to shoot out all this stuff, do a little jump and morph, and I'm through the door with a successful baby skip. No need to refill, we're just going to keep on going. And since I'm rocking that 20 and 10 ammo, I'll have a 5 missile leeway on Mother Brain 1. That means if I miss a couple missiles or even miss a super, I'll be okay. Sometimes these turrets are hungry for your ammunition, and they just help themselves But fortunately, they're not going to attack this time. We are now on the Mother Brain 2 fight. Much easier than the low percent fight. It's only going to be 60 charge shots. Once again, I have to look out for that catch-up beam that comes when 75% of her health is gone. So I'm going to have to keep count here so that I don't get taken out by that catch-up beam. That almost killed me. And we should be getting the catch up in a few more shots here. And that should do it. Yep, she's dead. So since that rainbow beam is going to do 300 damage to me, if I fall below 301, the run is over. And she did a weird pattern there where she fired a patch of onion rings at a weird time, and if I were to hit all 4 of those, that would have done 80 damage and I would have been dead. But fortunately I was just able to dodge them, and we will finish this run. For those that were wondering how I wasn't taking damage when I was jumping on some of those bombs, if you hit the center of the bombs and not the actual like explosions on the side, the damage is actually so little that when you have the gravity suit equipped, it actually rounds down to 0 damage. So even though like you get hit, you get like the iframes and do the little hit animation, it actually doesn't do damage. So that's a good way to avoid getting hit by that attack. And now the baby Metroid gives up its life in order to save ours, and it gives us the wonderful Hyper Beam, and we're going to use it to deliver the final blow to Mother Brain 3. She's dropping a lot of meatballs, so it was lagging pretty hard for a second, but we're good now. And Mother Brain just cannot handle the Hyper Beam. She is just done. Just like that. And with that, now we just have the Zebus escape, and we are done. Oh, didn't get that swag 3-minute transition. Coming through this room here, since we have the speed booster, we can use a little shortcut. Rather than going through that kind of maze up there, we can shine spark through these blocks. I'll take some iframes from that french fry that hit me, wall jump through him, kill him and jump right up. Kill this guy that wants to snipe me, and another one down here that would like to do it too. And we have one more shine spark left up the climb room, which we've been in twice now. This time with a fully kitted Samus, it will just spark right up, no wall jumping. In just a couple rooms, we will be on our gunship, and we will have completed our mission successfully. There we go. It is Super Metroid any %. We're gonna get off planet Zebes in the nick of time. We'll get to see my game time and some sweet credits. And that's it. And fortunately, I did not save the animal, so we will not see a pixel fly out from the destruction. Only Samus makes it off this time. And that is Super Metroid. So I'm not sure when our next run of the marathon is going to get started. So let me go ahead and just say thanks again to Feasel and all the SpeedGaming staff for putting on the marathon and letting me showcase this run, as well as the low percent run I did yesterday. It's been a lot of fun. I love this game, I love the speedruns of it. And again, I'll plug the Super Metroid community. If you're interested yourself in speedrunning the game or just want to learn more, look up our wiki, Super Metroid Speedrunning Wiki, at wiki.supermetroid.run. We have a lot of people active in Discord. You can find an invite to it there. A lot of people willing to help out if you're new to the game or just like the game a lot, so, you know, check it out. It looks like up next we're going to have a Super Punch-Out run from Jackamus, and it's not just any old speedrun, they're actually going to be doing it blindfolded. That's pretty exciting. With that though, I will be out and I will let them start setting up for that run. Thank you again everyone for watching and for all the staff putting on the marathon, and we will see you all next mission.